Welcome to another episode of 40 Soccer Podcast. Soccer podcast for us, by us. Talking about intersection of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Grego here. Got the All-Star crew with me. Got Devin the dude with us tonight. What's going on with you, bro? I like that shirt.
Oh, you know, latest, the finest. You know, I always gotta try out the merch before we sell it to the public. So, you know, we out here. Vibes and caffeine as always. Uh-oh. Not wearing that one today though, but I'm out here.
Word. And also joining us, you know, the Miami insider himself, the king of Cali Urrutia. How's it going, boss?
It's going well, man. Wrapping up my week, headed on vacation tomorrow, but couldn't resist coming on and talking with the boys tonight. So ready to go.
Cool. A little richer than you were a couple weeks ago. Like, we'll get into that in just a little bit.
Just say it's open.
You know, let's just say Miami is jumping right now. Needless to say. But thank you guys for checking out your podcast apps: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. That's it. Stitcher's going away. So if you listen to us on Stitcher, you gotta choose another station because I think they're going away probably the end of next month. But like I said, trust me, plenty of apps out there. Trust me, of course, YouTube, 2 Cents FC. We got what you need. Trust me, plenty of options, plenty. But of course, we took a week off because, of course, half the team was up in DC for the MLS All-Star game up in Devin's neck of the woods. I mean, have you had a chance to breathe yet?
Nah, man. DC was wild. DC was definitely a movie. It was pandemonium. The second you walked into DC, nothing but a sea of red kits. And I mean, I was walking through the street like, am I in heaven? Like, I wasn't used to seeing so many kits. I sometimes forgot, like, oh, this is an actual Arsenal event. Usually, like, if I'm at like a Spirit game, somebody's wearing an Arsenal kit every once in a while. I'm like, okay, cool, we're among it. But it just like they just kept coming, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Okay, because usually you see one, you see each other, you give each other that now, like, what's up? But there's like, oh, not here. Oh, it's all family right here. Like we in here.
Yeah, no, there was a ton of events going on around the city. I happened to make it to a couple of them before the skills challenge and before the All-Star game itself, and it was all love, man. Just, you know, of course, Gooners from all over, Gooners from across the pond, Gooners from across the country. It was all love. Got to take a pic with the one and only, so they say, Invincibles trophy. You know, it was good times. So no, it was definitely a movie from sun up to sundown for sure. So glad I got to see the fam, and glad I got to see the Arsenal. You know.
Yeah. Like I'm supremely jealous that I was not up there because I mean this is something that just from a network standpoint as well as just the actual event itself, like it's if you ever been through a whole MLS week, it doesn't seem like it's that long, but at the same time so much goes on just next to that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And it was a great time by everybody. Of course, if you haven't done so already, check out our experiences on vlogs that are up on Twitter, Threads, Instagram. I posted 2 of them on TikTok. So just in case y'all were wondering about our TikTok, it's up on there too. But or not Twitter, X.
Or Key, or like, who knows, man.
Skeet. It's Skeet. I'm determined.
Elon's getting that's all we know.
That's what it is. But it's one of those things where I said, like, it was a great time. Shout out to you, Maya, El, Ty, Rashad was up there. Happy birthday, Rashad, by the way. His birthday was this past weekend. TK was on the field, doing the goodly work, man. Like, just taking all the footage that he could, and getting good work in And like I said, one person that was missing that was me, baby. But that's okay. Like I said, like the team definitely represented, and can't beat that. Even though the one thing that couldn't be that apparently could be beat was MLS, because MLS got smacked. But it's okay, because and even Wayne Rooney said it himself. Like, one, you're talking about like a group of players that don't really get a lot of time to play together. And apparently, they tried to have them go practice in the National Mall, which I know it sounds good for the photo op, but come on, that just couldn't happen. And every so often, when you have these European clubs show up, they actually do want to take the game seriously. And Arsenal is like, hey, we're taking this game seriously. So, yeah, the MLS All-Stars got mollywopped.
I don't even want to say, like, they took it seriously. They just, in my opinion, that they just felt in first gear the whole time. I mean, it was just nobody wanted to stop them. So, if nobody wants to pick them up at the top of the goal line, they're going to shoot it. And it just kept going in. So, I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, Martinelli, he was his goal. I mean, I know he does that goal 100 times a day in practice. It was just another day of practice for all them boys. It was good to see it though. It was good to understand that that they really haven't quote unquote skipped a beat. Lost the step. Coming into the preseason. It just felt good to see it all around. Everybody was scoring that you wanted to score. Everybody played that you wanted to see. All the goals were beautiful. Every single one of them. It wasn't. None of them were just like consolation goals. Like these are world class primetime goals, and just all around good time, good game. Happy to see it. Sorry to MLS, but you guys got Messi now, so they'll be alright.
Yeah, you even got to see the new kid in town, Declan Rice. He finally announced him, and he made his debut at the All-Star game, no less. And yeah, it's like I said, the only loss that Jar really took, aside from United, but we'll get that in a little bit, is just those away kits, man. Those away kits, man. What was the conversation amongst the Gunners as far as like were they really like, hey, it's still Gunners, like we still love it, but they're like, nah, this is trash. This is trash.
So, I get it. I understand the pandemonium on social media. I definitely, it was rumored to drop last year. Actually, we saw the rumors for the kit last year, and I definitely was like, alright, like, how'd you guys have such great jerseys this year to go to that? But I will say in person, it's not as bad as it looks in person.
Okay.
Am I still gonna buy it?
Okay.
Hell no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. But
oh man, no, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, given the past few years, especially given all the stuff that's come out with for Arsenal and Adidas, like it seemed like it's been banger after banger after banger after banger. Like it was just due for a bit of a clunker, and this might be that clunker. And it happens. Like every so often, like what. Let's just throw something together. Let's see if it sticks. Maybe some people might fuck with it. Some people might not. But yeah, like y'all definitely running with it during this tour. So
yeah, wearing it hard.
Vaya con Dios.
But no, the home kit, absolute fire. Haven't copped it yet myself.
Yeah.
But that joint is fire for sure. So I mean, it's not a total loss on the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Arsenal, I mean, it did look better worn. Like when I was watching it on TV, it looks better like being played in than because when I remember seeing it on Twitter and Instagram, I'm like,
my eyes.
But
the blue numbers pop. The blue numbers pop hard.
Absolutely. That's kind of how I feel about Liverpool's away kit too, because they got that white one with a green like squares type of thing on it, and I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, this is terrible. And then I saw it worn like in a game and in photo shoots and stuff. I'm like, okay, I can look this up. I'm not gonna buy it, but I can
Right.
notice.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
You know, it's like I say, of course, it's that special time of the year. You know, all the new kit drops and everything, and of course, my boys dropped their away kit today. Like, I just wish it was black. Like, that green just ain't doing it for me. I'm like, if it was black, I'd get busy with that shit. But nah. Like, I think I'm going to have to wait for what's supposed to be the third kit that's coming out. I'm like, that one might be the winner there. But yeah, you know, it was a good time by everybody in DC, and a good time by everybody except for Cali down in Miami, because I don't know if y'all have noticed or anything, but a certain number 10, America's number 10, made his debut this past Friday during the Leagues Cup opener against Cruz Azul. First of all, I need them to calm down with just how they hype this guy. I'm like, it's not America's number 10. Like, it's not that guy. I'm like, let's just. Is he MLS's number 10? Like, maybe, but I don't know about America's number 10. I mean, let's just calm it down a little bit. Let's just calm it down just a smidge. He probably owns like about 3% of Apple. I know he definitely owns about 10% of MLS at this point. And like Adidas, let's just say, hey, half of this is mine. but yeah, it's you know, the stars came out, the celebs came out. LeBron was out there, Kim K was out there, of course. Beckham and his wife was out there. The only person that wasn't there was Cali. But hey, I get the bag, man. Like, get the bag. Like I just want to know, like, how much.
All right, so a few days before Messi was announced, I'd heard inklings of, you know, that this was going to happen, and someone very close to the club told me, if you're going to get a ticket, get it for this game and get it now. All right, so I got, and I'm thinking back on it, I should have gotten two, but I got one ticket, right in the West Stand, right over Miami's bench. I got it for $25. I'm like, hey, all right, cool. So I got my ticket. The pandemonium started. He signed. He announced the whole thing.
Keep going.
I had full intention of going, but I was talking to my friend. I was kind of talking to a friend, like, hey, I wanted the Inter Miami's like buy and sell thing on Facebook. And bro, people are like desperate for these tickets. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you should at least see what you'd get for it. I'm like, I mean, let me throw it out there, you know, and let's see what happens. And I had like a number in my head that I knew I wouldn't say no to. And mind you, I paid about $25 for his ticket. $25. Yeah.
25.
So I threw it out there like, hey, I may not be able to make it to the game. I have just this one ticket, no parking. I'm like, but it's in this section, it's in the second row, you know. And I put an amount that, like, you know, you ask for more, hoping it comes down. That ticket was sold in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I had someone in my DM like, I want the ticket, like, what's it going to take, whatever. And he gave me what I asked for, but let's say, so I bought the ticket for $25. I ended up selling it close to $1,000. Yeah. So it was a business decision at this point that I'm like, hey man, like, I'm cool. I'll watch from home.
Listen.
But
Enjoy that new tax bracket, man. Enjoy that new tax bracket.
Yeah, it wasn't until other people kind of followed my lead. I had some friends that kind of did the same thing and they ended up selling theirs. So hey, screw it. We'll go to a sports bar. We'll watch it. It'll be great, and we can watch the women at the same time. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a time. But I was walking into the bar and I was like, damn, bro, I wish I were there, because all my, you know, the group chats are going off. Like, you know, I got Jermaine and AD blowing me up, like taking pictures. The FOMO started setting in a little bit, but like, hey guys, dinner's on me tonight. We're good.
Wiping your tears with Hunnits.
Yeah, Benji cleaning it up for me, and you know.
Oh man, I mean, you know, like, of course, you know, Messi didn't start Friday night. He came in off the bench, and you know, it seemed like it was destined for a 1-1 draw, but then I'm not going to say it was rigged. I'm just going to say it was very convenient placement because you're in the 94th minute, 93rd, 94th minute, and you have a free kick outside the box. And, one of the greatest free kick takers of all time just happens to step up, who happens to be, probably the next World Player of the Year, captain of the defending World Cup champion, said, hey, I'll just go ahead and take a shot here. And, man.
See what he does.
That if there was probably a moment where you're like, fuck, I wish I was there, I'm sure that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that when it was happening, like the build-up was that, like, I remember I was watching from the bar and I got goosebumps when he came onto the field, and then he got fouled. He's just outside the box. I turned to my buddy. I'm like, he's gonna do this. He's like, oh man, no way. I'm like, I think he's gonna do this. And sure enough, he bends it and it just goes right in. And I'm a very calm and reserved person. Like, I'm not one to get up and start screaming. And I lost my shit in this bar, bro. Like, I got up, I started screaming, like family sitting around and just trying to eat dinner, and I'm fucking standing up screaming like an idiot. Like, even the waitress told me, like, hey, like, calm down, like, sit down. I'm like, my bad. But
this third is the windows.
it was like, again, you don't want to say it's scripted, but it's like, I think everyone kind of saw the moment and be like, it has to, like you couldn't ask for a better moment. And it was a very healing moment for us as Miami fans, because we've been through some shit, man. We've been an absolute dog shit organization from day one, and then for all of it to kind of accumulate into that, it was definitely a bit of a healing moment for us. And it's like, man, we put up with Blaise Matuidi and Ben Sweat for this, man. We're here.
Ben Sweat, man, listen. I mean, this is what all those years of just, sitting around hoping, okay, it's going to be this year, it's going to be this year, it's going to be this year. And, because, like, when was Miami first announced? Like 2011, 2012?
No, it was like 2014, 2015 when like well, I guess if you go back to, like, when Beckham got Miami, I guess. I think it was like 2012, 2013, and then like the ownership group and everything kind of came together in 2014, 2015. They said, oh, it's when you enter Miami and all that stuff. And then 2021 was our first season. So, or 2020 was,
like this is what this was all leading to. This is what I say, hey, you finally cash it, say, hey, we're in now. And like, this is exactly what Garber, stayed patient with, because he knew, like, once this thing is up, and once we get the right guy in place, and of course, I don't think you can get any bigger than Messi, obviously, but and of course, we haven't even talked about Sergio Busquets, who made his debut, and apparently he actually ran. Like, I've never seen that guy sprint before, and apparently he was getting busy. He was. I mean, we're seeing progressive. The midfield has been like the Achilles heel of the club all season. Like, it's been a disaster. But yeah, we're seeing progressive passes. He was running. It was like, and that was kind of, it was like, oh, he's 100 years old. He's not gonna run. He doesn't have it in his knees anymore. It's like, no, man, dude can keep up. It was getting it in. And then Jordi Alba was just announced finally, and I just saw today that apparently there was Miami has acquired an extra international slot. So
yeah, but that international slot is to be compliant with someone else we signed, Diego Gomez from South America. So Luis Suarez rumors can be.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
put to bed. Yeah,
put to bed. Oh, dang.
For now, because I already saw an article over the weekend, like Jorge Masari talking about addressing the salary cap, trying to basically get it to where, hey, let's go ahead and get this Miami thing really popping and everything. And it's like somebody put up some graphic on Instagram as far as like all the rumored targets that Miami is looking at. Sergio Ramos, Luis Suarez. Who else? I forgot who they had it for, but like this ridiculous names. And I'm like, of course, obviously in the current MLS world, you can't get all those guys on one team unless you just got that drug money fully flowing underneath the table. But I'm pretty sure in the next year or two, you're going to see a really big jump as far as the salary cap goes, and probably even with the designated player limit, as far as just like, hey, who can we get some more guys? Because it's not just Miami that can spend like this. I mean, obviously, the LA teams can spend like this. The New York teams can spend like this. Atlanta can probably spend like this. Shit, if Chicago gets their stadium shit together, I would love to see some people go to Chicago. I'm like, but it all just starts with, hey, let's open this thing up and actually get some shit in here, because I don't know if y'all know. I mean,
I think
Saudi the plucking guys. Saudi Arabia's plucking.
Yeah, I think the first thing that happens is probably they give everyone an extra DP spot or two or something like that, and I know that can come straight for the owners. So that would be the only hope. But all those rumored names, Suarez, Iniesta, Ramos, those are all that's all just. If you look at Miami's roster, like it's impossible. It's impossible for any of that to happen. I know the only one of those that had real chance was Ramos, but he's asking for way too much, and that's why I think maybe one of the LA teams will probably swoop in and could probably do that. Or
I definitely see him as an LA guy. Like Miami sounds great, but I'm like, I see him as just LA. Like I've always kind of looked at him like kind of like Val Kilmer, but that's just yeah. But no, I mean, of course, you have that. Then the Leagues Cup continues. We're recording this on Monday. By the time this drops, a very familiar red and black team will be down in Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday, and it wouldn't be enough if you got Tata there now. Joseph Martinez is still there. Of course, apparently Joseph Martinez and Messi are becoming besties, which is kind of just blowing my mind.
No kidding.
And but then you have that, you have those two going against their former team up here, and then of course you just have Busquets and Messi starting as well. I'm like, I already had limited hopes as far as this tournament goes to begin with. I think we need to get healthy, but I don't think this game gonna look good for us tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really funny because now in all the pictures that you're seeing of Messi and training and all that stuff, Joseph is right next to him, and there's kind of jokes among us like Joseph knows he needs Messi to kind of save himself here a little bit because he's had a bit of a rough start, but we've already seen a different Joseph in the little bit of time we saw with
He knows, but hey, it's showtime.
So
it's showtime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously Miami's a very different team now than they were 2 weeks ago, and now with Alba officially announced, I don't think he starts on Tuesday, but he'll definitely. I think we'll definitely see him get some action, and then we're going to see these young if they get registered and everything on time, these young South American guys going to Diego Gomez and Aviles. So we'll see.
It's dope times. I mean, for the most part, like, are y'all kind of like what on a scale of 1 to Messi? Like, how excited are y'all for this Leagues Cup? Like, because I feel like of course, we're in this mid-season break where we have this tournament. We haven't really talked about it like much like that on the pod. So, like, for those of y'all that don't know, all of MLS, all of Liga MX is participating in basically a World Cup style tournament where you have, I believe it's 8 groups of 3, and basically it's like a World Cup. You have your group stage and you have your knockout rounds and leading up to a final in about a month. And first of all, you just decided, like, hey, just fuck the season, just go ahead and play this tournament, no matter like what might happen for the rest of the season. But
I think
the hypeness it ain't hype for me, dog.
I think I saw somebody say Miami could win the Leagues Cup, they could win the U.S. Open Cup, and not make the play.
I think that's the reality for us too, man. I mean, you look at the table in MLS, and it's hard to see a road that gets Miami into the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about like we'd have to win out, and then we need a lot of people to kind of fall apart a little bit. But so I learned that the biggest bonus in Tata's contract is Club World Cup. So I think all eyes, like all effort this season, will go into Leagues Cup, into the U.S. Open. Yeah, and with MLS, I think they just kind of cross their fingers and hope it happens. But all eyes are on that, man.
If Miami won Leagues Cup and at least get to the finals of the U.S. Open Cup, I think that all this considered that would be considered a successful season. I mean, you can't change what's already happened with the regular season. And again, by the time the regular season ends, it's like if you make it into, I guess, the play-in game or whatever, then hey, you'll take what you can get. But I think that all the energy is going to go towards whatever is left of the Open Cup, which I'm trying to look up right now as far as where are we right now?
Yeah, because we play.
It's a very realistic. It's a very realistic thing that they can win both of these things. So
yeah,
it's a real chance.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, the Final Four is Miami plays Cincinnati, which is of course top of the table in MLS, and on the other side is Houston and Real Salt Lake. I'm like, 2 games, that's it, money. Let's go. Let's get this check.
Yeah. So I think this season we'll see all the effort go into the tournament league, the tournaments and stuff between Leagues Cup and US Open Cup. Again, in playoffs we get in, it's going to be a bonus at this point. I am not optimistic. I am not.
Looking at the table right now, you guys are 12 points off of the play-in, which is, you guys have 18 right now. DC United is in that last spot with 30. So
that's
that's a big swing.
It's a big swing, and again, 12 points versus 2 games.
Yeah,
I think the math is pretty easy here. Let's
right.
Go ahead and get these trophies. So, and then we'll worry about MLS Cup next year. So, it's all right. It's easy money right now. So, but I of course, y'all come down here on September 16th. I was just asking about, because my employer has a suite in the Benz. I was like, can I get up in there? I was like, bitch.
Yeah.
But my ticket is for sale. So anybody that want to come holler at me, you can find me on Threads. You can find me on the X. Find me on Instagram, and trust me, we can find it everywhere. Just come at me. Let's make a deal. But it's all good. But yeah, with this Leagues Cup, because so lots happening right now. You have Women's World Cup, you have Leagues Cup, you got the European teams coming over because it's their preseason game. Matter of fact, the EPL's having their first ever official summer preseason. A bunch of their teams are coming here. Matter of fact, here in Atlanta on Wednesday, we have a doubleheader, which first game being Brentford and Brighton, and the second game being the headliner, Chelsea and Newcastle. Miguel Almiron, his first game back in Atlanta since leaving United. So that's going to be a big one. Of course, Darren Eales is a Newcastle president. He's our former president here in Atlanta. So lots of homecoming there. Of course, Chelsea being Chelsea, that'll be I'm pretty sure that the game is sold out. So I know Tony's going to be there. I'm pretty sure TK's going to be there. I think Rashad might be there. I know I'm not going to be there because I'm like, I thought about that. I was like, these ain't my teams, man. Rivals stay rivals. So. But we might get some content out there. But one thing I did see Saturday, which is why I was talking about this, was that so Saturday you had Man United versus Arsenal at MetLife Stadium. For those of y'all that don't know, MetLife Stadium is only 20 minutes away from Red Bull Arena. Red Bulls had a Leagues Cup game that was going on pretty much right after the end of that game, and if there wasn't already A2000 in MetLife, I said, hey, you could just go ahead and just drive up the street. I'm like, nah, the Red Bulls had like maybe 5,000 up in there. And I'm like, is this the right time of the year to be having this, or right time this period? Because again, you have so much going on all at one time, and your money can only go but so far. But yeah, it's an interesting time to just have this tournament.
It's unfortunate for Red Bull, and that, I mean, to be facing the Premier League first and foremost. I mean, again, just going back to the All-Star game, every seat was sold out. Just, I mean, hacked, right? You don't see DC United. I mean, the only time I even saw DC United like that was the week before when they thought Messi was coming, right? But
yeah, I heard about that.
And the thing, right? Even with the All-Star game, it was nothing but red in the crowd. You know, it wasn't. You know, of course, you did have your occasional. I was actually standing next to a St. Louis City guy with a St. Louis City shirt on, but that was very peppered throughout the crowd. It was nothing but a sea of red. So it's really hard.
The All-Star game, the All-Star game vibe is always weird to me because, you know, having experienced that here in Atlanta and seeing like how it is, because of course it's not just a strictly like Atlanta event. It's not just like strictly an event for the home team. So it's like you have basically all these fans coming from all over, and it's just like, hey, who go MLS the team and everything. Like, you don't know like what to cheer for. You don't know what chance to do. You're just like, hey, I guess let's just have a good time. But it's weird. And of course, I'm pretty sure, especially with it being Arsenal, it's like, yeah, you just it's all one team. And then again, like you had the game in MetLife. Down the road in Philly, you had Chelsea and Brighton playing. So yeah, like Red Bulls didn't stand a chance here as far as, you know, just having a decent turnout. And again, like you have the way the Leagues Cup schedule is falling, like it's like you got like a game on Tuesdays and Fridays, not just on the traditional like either midweek or a weekend game. Like, so I'm curious to see like how this all falls out, because like it's not even being televised in Mexico. And again, like I feel like, and I had this debate on Facebook a couple of days ago. I'm like, I get that MLS wants the validation and just say, hey, we're good too. But I'm like, work on your own shit. Work on your own shit, and you will get there. But yeah, during this time of the year, like you have, like just listen, like you have Chelsea here, Newcastle here, Man United here, Arsenal, and not to mention AC Milan, Real Madrid, Juventus. Like they're all here in the States right now. So it's like, are you gonna choose to get that one game where you might see your favorite European team, or are you gonna go, check out Leagues Cup? Like that's where it's like, hey, your money might only be able to go but so far. You might want to go for the one that you for the team that you might not be able to see that often. So I'm very interested to see like just like how much interest this Leagues Cup is in this expanded form turns out. But yeah, it's I'm not going to be too much of a Debbie Downer. I'm just going to be like, yeah, like this might have to just take a little while to grow. And of course, with all the tournaments that are going to be coming here in the next couple of years, it's like, when will it ever be a good time for Leagues Cup to really shine? So, we'll see. One last thing before we get up into our main event. I will be remiss if we did not talk about the news that just came out today with our main man, Kylian Mbappe, being offered
set for life money.
Basically, it's a deal for,
quite literally,
for $1 billion deal between PSG and Al Hilal out of Saudi Arabia. Again, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm like, it just oozes just some straight money laundering and shit. And it already felt greasy to begin with. But I'm like, I definitely feel like there's probably some type of thing going on, like to avoid financial fair play violations and everything. So hey, let's just give you a whole bunch of money, so that way it's on the books. So hey, look all the money we made. I'm like, make it make sense, because like Al Hilal offered PSG, and they accepted a deal for over $330 million transfer fee, which would be by far a world record, like insane world record that probably, I don't know how that could even be touched. And then just for a 1-year deal, they would pay Kylian Mbappe over $700 million. Now, granted, apparently he already has agreed to personal terms with Real Madrid, but of course PSG said, "Hey, we're going to try to take this bag over here." But I'm like, good luck on getting the contract done. But at the same time, if it was you, do you take that 1-year deal and just say fuck it and just go and go about your business next year, or do you find it in your soul to be like, you know what, I gotta be amongst the best, man. I can't go over there, and I gotta go ahead and go to Spain.
And see, like that, right? It's the most enticing offer in the history of life, right? Like, you are literally, your grandkids are set, right? But I think the difference with Mbappe is he's still so young. Everybody else that's that's going to Saudi, like they got some years under them, right? They got they're honestly, for lack of a better term, they're on the downswing of their careers, right? There's nobody really that I can think of who's off in the Saudi league that's I would say still in the prime of their career. So I think Mbappe needs to do what he needs to do. He just needs to stay the course, and that money will be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna. I honestly think like he can go to Real, do what he needs to do, and then they'll probably come back. I mean, maybe it won't be 3 generations full. Maybe it'll just be 2 generations are set for life now. But like that money's not going anywhere. Let's be honest. So he needs to just stay the course, stay on that path. Get to where he actually wants to be, because it's either a money move or where you want to be. Like, which one do you want to do? So just stay on that course, and I think he'll be all right. Just know that money's coming. So just do what you got to do.
Yeah, I think if you ask me, a teacher that lives in Florida, if you're giving me $700 million or whatever it is for 1 year, I mean, I would be remiss to say no, right? But kind of like Devin said, Mbappe's still so young, and if you're to tell me, he's already won the Champions League and he's gone through that whole gamut, I'd be like, maybe, but I still think he kind of has something left to prove in terms of trophy acquisition and all that stuff. And again, I think if he goes to Madrid, I mean, you're quite literally talking about the biggest global brand for football in the world. So yeah, he misses out on that $700 million in that 1 year, but the fame, the sponsorship, and Madrid's always been it for him, right? He talks about he had a poster, he had Real Madrid posters on his walls growing up. It feels like Mbappe to Madrid has always been inevitable. And surely Mbappe can turn around and tell Madrid, hey, this is the price now, and like, man, we can't get you $700 million, we'll get you pretty damn, get you as close as we can, and they'll figure it out. And again, like, you look at the guys that have gone to the Saudi league, Benzema, Kante, Henderson, Firmino, these guys, they've made their money already. They've played their games. Like, none of them are like fighting to stay in shape. They're all about done. Like, if it wasn't signing for these guys, maybe a guy like Firmino or something comes to MLS, or Benzema could have probably played anywhere else, and the money was a turning point. But those guys have already won what they won, and they've done what they've done. Mbappe still has so much to do. You tell me Mbappe's 29, 30, he's won the Champions League a few times, he's won the La Liga a million times, I'd be like, bro, like, go chase the bag, bro. But he's still got a lot to do, I think.
Yeah, there's no Ballon d'Or yet. Like, there's still a lot to accomplish at this point. Like, he's just 24. He won't be 25 until December. He's still got another Euros to go. Got at least another couple World Cups under your belt. I'm like, I wouldn't be pressed. I'd be like, hey, like the money will come either way. So it's not like it's something that will, I say he won't be short on money. His pocket change will be just fine. But like I think the interesting thing is that you have guys like I saw something today that caught my yesterday that caught my attention, because apparently another Saudi club, Al Ali, is looking at Alan St. Maximin. I need him to stay. Like, I feel like he still has, like, just like with Mbappe, even though he's a little bit older, he still has so much more to offer. And I think that he can possibly accomplish. I'm like, don't go just yet. Like, give this like another 2 or 3 years before you make that jump, and then you see, what the options are out there. But because I mean, he's been so good for Newcastle, and of course with them now going to Champions League this year, I'm like, you now have a new stage to where you could probably get something accomplished even more. So, and plus, apparently,
and I think with
the club
with Mbappe, we're gonna see a whole generation of kids now that have, that instead of it being Messi or Ronaldo, we're gonna see Mbappe and Haaland, right? So we're talking about maybe the most marketable young player on the planet right now. So I think, you're saying no to $700 million right now, but what's going to come in endorsements and, all that stuff, it's going to, this, like, Mbappe's going to retire a billionaire when it's all said and done,
Of course. Absolutely.
So,
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's, it'll be interesting. Like, I think that with Maximin, like, I swear, like, this thing just smells of money laundering, because now you have teams that are owned by the same group, and they're just basically like, hey, you come over here, you come over there, we'll give you money. I'm like, I feel like in the end of the day, it's going to come out later on. Like, this is just a whole big ass fugazi. But
I saw something I saw a funny meme on Twitter that the negotiation table was just a guy staring at the mirror. So,
oh god. Before we get up into the Women's World Cup, shout out to everybody that's been making orders at ftcutd.com/shop. Of course, with this little bit of a break, I guess you could say, it's a good time to make sure your gear is fresh for the new European season. Make sure your gear is straight for the Women's World Cup. We got what you need. We got your hookup and everything. So make sure you go to ftcutd.com/shop and get all your culture swag, all that jazz. All right. Now that that's out the way, of course, if it wasn't for the World Cup, not the World Cup, the All-Star game, I probably would have done a more fully fleshed out preview episode. But if you haven't done so already, all I can tell you is make sure you're listening to Shea Butter FC, because right now the content is cooking unbelievable. Like, matter of fact, right now it's about 10:15. The morning games out in Australia are about to kick off.
Colombia and Korea.
Scott Sabine and friends are up over on YouTube, chatting live. I think right now they have our guy Jake Payne from 50 Plus Dunner, Blackfires, and I forgot the other lady that's on tonight. But yeah, they're chatting up. It's I think right now we have who's playing today?
Colombia and Korea are on right now. Just kicked off about 15 minutes in.
Yeah, so right now it's been a pretty good tournament so far. Of course, we're pretty much we're wrapping up the first match day for all the teams. Who's stood out for y'all so far?
Well, obviously, if we watched the match earlier this morning with Brazil and Panama, The clinic, absolute clinic that was put on by Ari Borges right now. It was just a thing of beauty.
Beautiful.
She made it look so easy the entire time. I mean, 3 goals and an assist. Like, she is genuinely the star right now. And I mean, just back heels and just it was a warm up the entire time. Hats off to Panama. Bless your hearts.
Thanks for showing up. Here's your t-shirt.
Yeah, thanks for playing. Ari looked beautiful, and then of course, hats off to Sophia Smith for the U.S. as well. She came out very dominant and doing Sophia Smith things, right? 2 goals in the first half of 2 goals in the first half of our match against Vietnam. Literally almost had a hat trick the second half kicked off. She's been amazing. And then also give my hat off to Pop for Germany as well, 2 goals as well. So those are definitely the 3 I would say have stood out the most. But games have just been crazy. They've been physical. They've been intense, and you just never know what's gonna happen. I mean, France 0-0 draw in their first match. It's not as cut and dry as it used to be. The competition has stepped up. These teams are ready, and you just love to see it right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Kelly?
Devin always covered that Brazil, and we all saw like that goal, right? Like it like very few things like make me just like open my mouth and just like, what the hell did I just see? That was definitely one of them. Devin kind of covered the big ones. Shout out to New Zealand for winning their first ever World Cup game.
Beautiful. The scenes.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I mean the matches have been super. I think physical is the best word. Super physical, super competitive. So some crazy shit happening, like the Bunny Smith red card was that Jamaica France
bullshit.
France game was just
bullshit.
Something else, man.
I love you, Wendy, but that was bullshit. That was a dive.
Yeah,
that was a straight up dive.
I see the crazy thing, right? Like, I'm not even gonna dispute like the second yellow that Bunny got. Like, she did go head first into Wendy, and we know Wendy's good for her theatrics. It was that first yellow that was like
very soft yellow.
This is very questionable. So obviously, hopefully that gets rescinded. We'll see. I mean, this was 2 days ago.
But that's the thing though. Like, if you look, like, if they had like looked at the VAR and reviewed that, it would, like, you could clearly see Wendy dove, like the contact was scant. Like you just say like that's a foul, or you just say straight up call a dive on Renard and be like, hey, that was bullshit. Like, the fact that Bunny Shaw had got sent off over that, no. I agree. But yeah, this morning, Brazil over Panama. Like, I hadn't really been checking for Brazil that much anymore, but I saw when they released their roster, I was like, this looks good. This looks really good. And they showed up and showed out this morning, and but I'm noticing, like, there's a lot of tight games so far. Like, you've had England only won 1-0 over Haiti. Canada drew against Nigeria. Who else was it?
A lot of teams winning at the death, like Denmark over China, Sweden over South Africa.
Sweden.
Yep.
And like even with us, like, I think the expectation, especially given that you have Vietnam making their first World Cup, like I think there were people who were expecting like another 13-0 beatdown, but we only won 3-0, and I think that, like I said, like we've had our concerns with the team for a minute, so I'm just like, I don't know, but yeah, there was I don't know if it was just a case of like teams just kind of like sleepwalking their way into games, but yeah, some of these games were really tight. That's of course Jamaica and France that went to a 0-0 draw. So I'm very curious to see like how this next set of games turns out for everybody. Of course, you got like games like France and Brazil. On Saturday, you have Sweden versus Italy, Panama, Jamaica. Of course, the U.S. plays on, I believe, Wednesday against the Netherlands at a rematch of the 2019 final. So it's the next set of games, I think, going to set the table up as far as like what we likely see in the knockout in the first knockout round. So yeah, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Any two games that y'all looking forward to?
Yeah, looking through the schedule right now, of course, the big test for us is going to be obviously us versus Netherlands. I think that's going to be the real litmus test of our potential, right? How do we look against them? Of course, a W is a W, like we did, like we did do against Vietnam, but you know, it wasn't the dominant performance that we are looking for, right? So, right. You know, against the Vietnam team. So this is a Netherlands team that is proven. And, you know, are they still not playing with the full deck? No, like they still don't have Miedema there. But this is still Netherlands. So depending on how, you know, we play against them, I think that's going to be the true determining factor of like, okay, we can really take this thing, or like, this is really going to be a little bit tougher than we thought. Looking at some other fun games that are happening, like on Wednesday, Japan versus Costa Rica. Japan put that beat down on Zambia the other day. So they're playing Costa Rica, so we'll see how legit they are. Can't ever count Japan out, you know, like they just
yeah, I'm seeing Japan versus Spain. I'm like, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. And Spain and Zambia, Canada, Ireland, just kind of taking a look at all the Wednesday games that they have. Australia versus Nigeria on Thursday as well. I think it's going to be a fun one that we should really see. I don't know if Sam Kerr will be back for that one because she did kind of hurt herself before the match, the kickoff match. So hopefully she'll be back for that. I think she'll definitely be needed. England and Denmark, you know, a classic rivalry. There as well. Yeah, a ton of good games coming up. So,
and like
every game,
I do have to ask
y'all, blast to watch if you're up for them.
Have y'all tried staying up for those 2:00, 3:00 games?
I luckily found myself awake for Italy and Argentina earlier today. I didn't make it through the whole thing, but I was up for it at some point. So, you know, you just got to catch them when you can. You know.
Yeah. I managed to fall asleep kind of early. I think it was Saturday, Friday night, and I woke up just in time for the 6 o'clock game on Saturday. And of course, I was chatting up with on the Shea Butter watch party, and like how I managed to do that, I have no idea. But like again, if y'all haven't done so already, make sure you check out the Shea Butter watch parties with our homegirl Scotsafine and all of her merry cohorts. I thought both of them were coming, but I guess only Sylvs is out in Australia right now. But
Sylvs
shout out to her.
Leaves late, so we're recording this right now, Monday night. I do believe Sylvs is leaving tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay, so yeah, safe travels to her. And again, you know, it's going to be a crazy time, I'm sure, for her and the whole Shea Butter team all around the country. But let's get up and two down. It's been a fun episode. Let's wrap this up right. Cali, the Money Messi man. What you got?
So for 2 up, we kind of talked about this in our last Dreaming of Freedom episode that we recorded yesterday. It'll be coming out one of these days. I guess it can count as down also. Obviously, everything that happened with the athletic trainer at DC United tried to sneak in a little white supremacy into a photo. It's something that Jermaine honestly caught. He's like, "Yo, what is this?" And I remember he texted me and AD about it, like, "Hey, what do you think this is?" And we obviously brought it up in the 2 cents chat. And we're like, just before we say anything publicly, like, let's get everyone's opinion on this before. Mm-hmm. Well, we did that. We connected with Rose Room Collective, one of the supporters groups for DC United, and we're all on the same page. We're like, all right, let's say something. And the original tweet kind of took off, and it started a lot of discussion, and more than anything, it resulted with an internal investigation with DC United, and he got fired. The athletic trainer got fired for doing that. The same day. And I remember me and Jermaine and AD were kind of talking. We're like, man, this guy just lost his job. Like, what if, but then we're like, wait, no. They did an investigation. And instead, because they very well could have said, oh, he did it as a joke. He thought it was the Made You Look game. But they went through the whole gamut. And then he was fired. And then also in that very same day, we saw the issue where Taxi Fortunas and Nigel Roberta both got suspended or withheld from team activities because apparently Taxi said some dumb shit and Roberta did what he had to do, and Roberta's been welcomed back to the team ever since, and Taxi is still suspended. So
this is the second time doing something like this, and I'm like, of course we saw a post made by some of the supporter groups in the past day or so, like saying like, yeah, Taxi got to go, and I'm completely on board with that. That one time you might be able to get away with an apology and say like, okay, let's move on. But when you do it twice, like hey, this is likely who this person is, and that's not who you want and what you want representing your club.
So with us, just something that we put out on our socials and something that we just want to reiterate. It's just like, it's so important that we call this stuff out, like unapologetically call it out, emphatically call it out, because if and this sentiment that both Rose Room Collective and ourselves shared, it's when Black and Brown communities come together and we stand up about against this type of stuff, change doesn't always happen, but when it does, it feels pretty damn good. So. That's I guess that's 2 up for us. 2 down is the fact that shit like that is still happening in MLS. And so blatant, like, that motherfucker felt comfortable doing that shit on a team picture and thought he could get away with it. So, we just gotta keep looking forward and calling it out when we see it. So,
absolutely,
that's where I'm at.
Devon, what you got, man?
Usually Greco finishes it off, so I'll go next. Just to follow up, shout out to my good friends at Rose Room Collective, my good friends at Buzzer Point Social for not only just having you guys' back, but just no nonsense, no tolerance for racism in this sport, and backing it up and acting on it. Again, Taxi, repeat offender at this point. So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me at this point. So, again, thank you to y'all for the support and for having a united message. As Colombia scores from a penalty due to a handball right now as I'm watching it. The Women's World Cup again, for my ups, are it's just been a time. It's just been such a, it hasn't even been a week yet, and it's just been crazy. It just shows that the investment in women's sports is much needed. It's there, that the people want it, the community for it is alive and hungry, and it's just such a good time right now. Like you literally can't say anything about anything right now. Nobody watches women's sports, get in the kitchen, all that. Like it's so dead at this point. Like, you guys lost. You have lost. So we've been having watch parties at the Spirit. We had a watch party on Friday. We've had watch parties
All turned up.
Yes, no, we actually had watch parties all throughout the district. We were partnering with the AO chapters. We've been partnering with the AO Baltimore, AO DC chapters, and other bars within the district just to make sure that we're going to celebrate these players in the entire DMV. So it's been such a good time. Watch Party Friday was massive. So many people came out to it, so much. So thank you all so much for that support. We are doing it again, same time, same place on Wednesday at the Bullpen, right across from Nats Park. It's going to be a good one for the Netherlands. And then we Spirits still have matches as well, so we have another match Friday. So fun times all around to be had. As a down, we did have a Challenge Cup match this Saturday.
You sure did.
But did we? Let's
Y'all didn't. Curse did.
It did not go that well. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, this is the Challenge Cup. This is our younger players. These are the players that wouldn't necessarily get as much play during the regular season. So it's good to ingratiate them into the system. We've had a couple players that were out on injury, that these are their first minutes of the entire season coming back. So while it was very it was very depleting to see the score. 6 goals, or it was 6 goals total, 4 in 12 minutes or something crazy like that.
Pinto Train 2027.
Shout out to Brianna, yes. But we'll bounce back from it, and we'll be all the better for him. But it wasn't a good time as it was happening. So thumbs down to that.
I bet. I mean, hey, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I mean, since you did, I mean, yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my 2 ups and 2 downs brief for this week. Again, shout out to everybody that was up in DC last week. Again, thanks for the vibes, to the views, and just I really wish I was there. As far as I'm gonna go with my downs first. I think that I mentioned during our last episode at the very end, the scandals going on at Northwestern, just as the investigation just keeps going and going, it's now trickled down to the baseball and softball team. Clearly there's an issue going on with the athletics program, if not campus wide, with Northwestern, with sexual abuse, both between men and women, and just throughout their teams. Hopefully that gets squared away sooner rather than later. I'm gonna keep that as my only down. Oh, actually, no, wait. Yesterday, Shaka Hislop, goalkeeper, pundit for ESPN, collapsed live on camera before the Rose Bowl friendly, I think, between AC Milan and Real Madrid. All reports are saying that he's conscious, he's good now. He's recovering, but yeah, that was definitely a scary moment on live TV, and I'm just glad that he's recovering and everything. As far as my ups go, again, people might sleep on it, but this is such a great time of the year as far as soccer goes, because again, you have Women's World Cup going on right now. You have the summer friendlies with the European teams coming over. You still have Leagues Cup. You still got NWSL still going with the Challenge Cup right now. There's plenty of soccer pretty much everywhere. As I often say, you never have to get off the bike, because somewhere, some way, there's some soccer going on. It's just a matter of you finding it. Yeah, so that's always a thing. And last but not least, with the World Cup, you're especially with this year being the first time the women have gone up to 32 teams. You're seeing a lot of new teams getting in for the first time, so their excitement is real. And the interest is that some of these teams are making this, when they're entering the stadium, like, the culture is real. I keep on saying it after every show. The culture is absolutely real. It's absolutely amazing, and it's fun. It's fun to see. And we're a week into the World Cup. We got another week coming up this week. We'll definitely talk about that more next week. Hopefully, we'll get one of the Shea Butter girls on the show next week. But of course, as always, the conversation continues on the socials, on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads. I'm not sure where else at this point, but FTC,
UTD,
and just make sure you're keeping us with us there. Make sure you're keeping up with the whole team. Junior Freedom, 2 Cents FC, Shea Butter, Can I Kick It, Walking 90. I think I got them all this time. Make sure you follow all of us, because again, there's stuff going on all over the place, and we definitely are the spot for you to get it. Again, thanks to Cali and Devin for pulling up. Again, get your money up for these Messi tickets, because my inbox is open. That's all I can really tell you. But for everybody this week, we will see y'all soon. The coach is real. The coach is everywhere. Just hang back, because the soccer is definitely soccering. We'll see y'all soon, and we out.
FTC UTD.